I think it is important that you look after your lady, and as a man, I think from what I hear, men like feeling needed. Women like feeling wanted. So there's a difference. So men can fall into that, oh, she needs me. So if she needs me, then I'm doing my job and I'm providing for her. But it's not only money. And I think this is something that possibly, um, maybe it's kind of breaking away a little bit with this generation coming up. But, going back a few generations, that's what was instilled in us. And it was
It's your boy SoSo Juv, and we in the building. And welcome to another episode of the My 5 Cents podcast. Let me go ahead and introduce the cast of characters to my down that way. We got HLS.
Habitual line stepper in the building. What's up, everybody?
What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Good, I'm good. I can't call it. Trying to get another W, knock this loser dust off myself.
Yeah, right. You have been consistently bad, boy. I'll tell you this.
I'm having a bad year. I'm having a bad season. That's all.
My goodness. So I am excited and happy to introduce this because I've been needing some competition. It gets lonely on top sometimes. So I want to welcome back to the show. Yes, it's that boy, Logical Genius.
What's up, fellas? What's up, everybody? Glad to be back. I know y'all missed me. I know our listeners missed me. I mean, they missed the logic, they missed the genius. They had to deal with these two clowns. So I apologize for the nonsense that you all have been trying to listen to, have been listening to over. So I will, I own that. I own that. My bad. I'm sorry. But I'm happy to be back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your promotion there. Like, we are truly proud of you over here.
Yeah. Thank you. Being an adult is tough.
Adulting is real.
Yeah, so I'm kind of regretting it because I'm like, oh man, did I really ask for this? But you know what? It's been interesting. It's been a good journey. So
yes,
I appreciate y'all holding it down while I was out. Again, I've been listening to every episode, so I just want to say thank you to all the guests that were coming on my behalf. Miss Chit Chat, we had Mick from the Scene Snobs. I did Mish was on as well.
Yeah, Mish, Carl King.
Yeah, so Carl King. Yeah, so we had so many guests. So I want to thank you. Thank you all for trying to step in my shoes, and it was very impossible to do that. Tried to do your thing, and I appreciate it. So the king is back. So let's go.
All right, let's go. Let's get it. And our topic for today is toxic magnetism. So we are going into the reasons why men attract toxic partners. So this is interesting. So I feel like very often we talk about like males being the toxic ones. And we're not saying that males can't be a toxic partner to another man, but it's usually the reverse. So I'm so intrigued by this topic. And the person that's going to be talking to us about this topic, after 2 decades of absorbing women's intriguing man gossip as a hairstylist, because that's where the gossip really goes down, is in that salon, and personal trainer, our guest seamlessly channels her insights to empower high-achieving men in dating with confidence to attract their ideal partner for harmonious, successful relationships. Drawing from her extensive interactions with thousands of women throughout her career in the salon and the gym, our guests keenly sensed their discontent with their men. This awareness inspired her mission to guide accomplished men in attracting partners who value them beyond their financial status. As the acclaimed author of Master the Language of Attraction, our guest instills men with the self-assurance to navigate the complexities of dating and relationships while steering clear of incompatible matches. Please welcome to the My 5 Cents podcast, Stefania Puleo. Welcome, Stefania.
Welcome,
hello.
Stefania.
Yes. Hi, guys. How are we all? Good?
Good.
Great.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So let's start with the icebreaker there. Stefania, What is your superpower and how has it assisted you with your journey?
My superpower. Oh, I'd have to say one of my superpowers would have to be I'm a great listener. And not only am I a great listener, I'm a great listener with understanding. Because when I do listen, I really try and listen for, the gaps, or listen to the pain that my clients are actually expressing. And sometimes pain is expressed in different ways, let's say. Yeah, so we've got to like listen for the cues, whether it be in, verbal, um, body language. Um, yeah, so it's a combination of everything, really. Yeah.
So, in reading your bio, there
Hmm.
was a piece in which you talk about supporting men in getting women to look past their financial status. So, are you putting out there that women are gold diggers? Is this the truth? Like, is this what we should be expecting as a man?
Uh,
Yeah, well, that is one of the terms used, isn't it? So
It is.
yeah,
It is.
and men are using that term, um, yeah, quite a lot actually. To be honest, they're quite accomplished. They've gained a lot. They've probably been through a separation already, or a divorce, or a couple of divorces, and it becomes quite expensive when you keep
yeah.
circling around doing the same thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are, that is the term used. I guess women look at it differently. They're looking for, stability, financial stability. They're looking for someone that will take care of them, not only emotionally, but also financially. Or some are looking for compatible men that are going to look after them strictly financially. Let's be honest. They are out there. Not all women are like that, of course, but, some men sometimes get caught up in the emotional roller coaster of, relationships, attraction, whether it be physical, emotional, or all those encompassed in one. And they can overlook the signs. They can overlook why that woman is in their life. Are they ticking off all the right things on your list? Do these men have a list? Some don't have lists. Some men are just, after a woman who's got a great body, got legs, and, is playing the part. So, yeah, keeping it real here, I think we have to be more conscious when we're looking for that ideal partner.
Is quick follow up to that. Is it wrong? And I feel like you're probably going to say no, but is it wrong for someone, man or woman, but I guess we can speak on women being or being in a relationship, or being in a relationship with a man who has money, who that gold digger mentality, or that gold digger angle, if you want to use that terminology. Is it wrong for someone to be attracted to money, and like, is it no different than someone being attracted, as you mentioned, to a man being attracted to a woman who looks good, who has great legs, who has a great breast or great ass or whatever? What's your perspective on that?
Absolutely not. No. Money's good. Money's energy. Money gets you things, right?
Hmm.
I guess you got to look at it as the attraction to money. Is it solely money?
Okay.
And what is she bringing to the table? Is she also financial? She's quite accomplished herself, because if she's quite accomplished, she probably is looking for someone that's accomplished as well. And I think, they're values that are meeting each other. But if you have a woman that, is not accomplished at all financially, and I guess is only after the bags, the outfits, what he can, pay for, the holidays, the this, the that. I mean, there's got to be a fine line. I think it is important that you look after your lady, and, as a man, I think from what I hear, men like feeling needed. Women like feeling wanted. So there's a difference. So men can fall into that, oh, she needs me. So if she needs me, then I'm doing my job and I'm providing for her. But it's not only money. And I think this is something that possibly um, maybe it's kind of breaking away a little bit with this generation coming up, but, going back a few generations, that's what was instilled in us. And it was only financial, stability you can provide a woman. But it's not only that, it's that plus other things. And if we can bring that together and say, because there are relationships where women are, have partners that provide everything, but they're so dissatisfied because there's other components in that relationship that are missing: emotional connection, even physical connection. In some cases, men can provide everything. They, well, what does she want? I give her a nice car. She's got a nice house. She's got her bank accounts full. The kids are looked after. What more does she want? But she wants more than just money. Does that make sense?
No, 100% makes sense. 100% makes sense. So what do you think? And I'll pass it on to HLS. So ironically, I read into an article maybe a few weeks ago. I don't know. I'm not going to say this is truthful, but if it is, it's interesting. So the article is about Michael Jordan, the basketball player, the basketball legend.
Mm-hmm.
And in the report, in the article, it said something about I think he's on his third marriage now, maybe fourth. It might be his third marriage. But in that, there's prenup, which is not uncommon, right? A lot of successful people, not just men, not just women, have prenuptial when it comes to money or whatever. And I think part of that prenup was that for every year that his current wife stays married to him, she gets an X amount of millions per year on top of whatever if she, like, whether it's an allowance or if she leaves or divorces after 10 years, she has that much more money. Isn't that almost like baking in the fact that I'm accepting that I'm marrying someone who might be after my money, so I'm willing to accept this, but to keep her around, I'm going to give her a financial incentive to stick around. What do you think about that?
You're asking me whether it's a good thing, whether
No,
that's
just your perspective on it. Like, is that harmful to the relationship?
Is that harmful? Well, it's transactional, really, in a way.
Okay.
I don't know. That's how I look at it. I mean, what is a relationship to you personally? And this is all very individual. There's no right and there's no wrong. In some relationships, it is purely transactional. It is pure. Let's face it. There are a lot of couples out there. And is it working for them? Well, that's to be discovered by having a conversation with them. Some of them, yes, it is, because she's getting what she wants, he's getting what he wants, and it works. What is it they both want? Again, it's very personal. She may have the money, he may have the freedom.
So then, Stefania, would you consider that person to be a sex worker?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
That's a very interesting question.
That's a very interesting question. What do you define as a sex worker? Let's get that clear first.
Yeah, what do you define as a sex
transaction, right? Like, I will pay you this, you will give me that.
Right.
And I mean, we're talking in this example that we gave. I mean, it sounds like this is a contract for a sex worker.
It does, doesn't it? Well, once again, to be discussed, right? Now, as a man, you got to know where you stand in this relationship. Am I right? And as a woman, she's also got to know. Now, if she is a sex worker, because there's a lot of sex workers out there, let's put it out there, right? Let's be real. Yeah. And they are under a disguise that they're looking for their ideal partner, their ideal man. And for them, it's transactional. It's like, who can I get that can provide me with the best deal? And if she's working it right, she's going to get what she wants.
The best deal.
Yeah. The best deal. Now, if a man is used to, let's put it clearly here, where he does invest in escorts, service providers, sex workers, goes to brothels, all those entertainment places. Well, he's used to that kind of programming, isn't he? Because it's a programming. It's a transaction. I'm giving her money. She's going to provide me with the sex, how I want it. Now, whether you want to fluff it up and make it pretty and butter it up and make it look different on the outside is entirely up to you.
100%.
Interesting perspective. Speaking of toxicity in relationships, can two people enter a healthy relationship and leave it toxic? Like in essence, you have two healthy apples, right? And you put them together, they remain healthy. Or when you put two healthy people together, can a certain dynamic breed toxicity?
Again, that's a great question, HLS, because I believe when people are drawn to each other or attracted to each other, it's usually because they're mirroring to each other what it is they've got to bring to the table. What are they, vibrating at? What energy frequency are they vibrating at? So that if they are toxic, both toxic, well, they're gonna breed toxicity, whether
Correct.
it doesn't look like toxicity in the beginning, right? If they're vibrating at a higher frequency of love, understanding, joy, peace, serenity, and they're both vibrating at that energy, they're going to attract each other. Are they going to breed toxicity? Well, it depends whether they've worked on themselves. And usually if two people are coming together at a higher frequency, usually the case is they've done work on themselves. So therefore they're now ready and they're attracting their ideal match. Now, having said that, life is, quite a long journey. And when we work on ourselves, it's a progress. It's continuous. We're forever working on ourselves. I'm not sure if you've worked on yourself and done any self-development where we've just cleared one area of our lives and then all of a sudden like, oh my God, now I've got to deal with this. And you've unpacked that and healed that and then something else comes up. Well, it's not like it comes up. It's just you're peeling back the layers. You're getting rid of, those leaves, those cabbage leaves that are going off to get to the heart of things. And that needs healing. And usually when we're attracting that opposite person, they are in our lives to teach us, to mirror back to us what it is we need healing in our lives.
Wow.
So, Stefania, you have this book that's entitled Master the Language of Attraction. In your opinion, what is the biggest language barrier to attraction?
The biggest, I would have to say, it starts with confidence, really. Like to be able to communicate, we've got to start with some base, and that is self-confidence, self-worth. And if you've got that, well, then you have the confidence to communicate. And if you've also got that, well, then you're learning that communication isn't just a one-way stream. It's not all about how you speak. It's how you listen. It's what words you're using, tonality, body language. So when we're communicating, these are all the things under the umbrella that we really need to consider. And I think the biggest component that's missing when it comes to communicating would have to be curiosity.
Why do you say that?
We're too much into, we have a filtering system in our brains, right? And that's only been set up through what's either been modeled to us as children or what has been programmed to us by our parents or our guardians or whoever we grew up with. So this filtering system does three things. It either deletes, distorts, or generalizes. And when that's in action and you're deleting, distorting, or generalizing, you're not listening. Are you? You're looking at and listening through your own filter. So when we can remove that and you start being curious and you start being playful about your curiosity, not so intense, I think you get more of the information answered. Like you get your answers. You get to communicate with that person. That person feels like, oh my God, they're asking really interesting questions. They're curious about me. They're curious about who I am, what I'm about, what's important to me. And when a woman feels that, when we're talking about a relationship between a man and a woman, that's like a game changer. And I say this to men because curiosity isn't investigating. Okay, there's a difference.
Yeah.
Because men are very strategic. They're very compartmentalized. They've got drawers everywhere where they open and close and put things everywhere and people everywhere, women everywhere. And men get into that logical thinking that, loosen up, be curious, be playful. And you're connecting with a woman more emotionally. And that's what she's looking for. She wants to be seen, heard, and felt.
Wow.
So we are about to get into some curiosity and playfulness as we are
Mhm.
going to go over and segue into our next segment of the show, in which we go over our 5 cents on the topic for today. And once again, our topic for today is toxic magnetism. Okay, so we are exploring the reasons why men attract toxic partners. And at this time, logical genius, can you please explain to Stefania what's going to happen next?
All right, I might be a little rusty with the explanation, Stefan. So please accept
Mhm.
my apologies if I mess this up. But this is the power of editing, right? So the next leg of our show, the next segment of our show is where we, the logical genius, myself, HLS, and SoSo Juv, will present to you our top 5 list for reasons why men are in a toxic relationship. Now you get to decide, being our guest judge and resident expert on this, get to decide which one of us goes first, who goes second, and who goes last. And by the end of it, we want your decision on who has number 3, the worst list. We don't give a damn about number 2, so we can skip number 2. And from there, we want to know who has the best list, number 1. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah, easy. So I have to pick who goes first, right?
Before you
Yeah.
do that, we have to establish the criteria, right? You wrote a whole book on love and matchmaking and dating because there are expectations, there are levels, there are bars that people need to set. For this show, there's none of that.
Nada.
None.
You might choose me because someone on another episode called me a fuckboy. So you might think, for some reason, I know about toxicity in relationships.
Stefania, you might choose me because I don't mind being the man down under.
uh,
Mhm.
Stefania, you might pick me because you just mentioned it. Men like to Let me repeat that back. Men like to I can't say that word. We got to fix this up.
Compartmentalized.
Compartmentalize. Excuse me. Men like to compartmentalize. And you said we're too logical, and I am the logical genius. Maybe my genius will sway your decision.
Mhm.
Whatever you decide, it's completely up to you. But your first decision now is you get to decide who goes first.
Okay. Well, logical genius, I think, because we did mention men are so logical, right?
Oh boy, great
Yeah.
first choice. I think that right there is just the best choice you're going to make now and at the end of the show. Um, so Stefania, thank you again for being on the show. And you know, I am a bit rusty. I was on retirement for a little bit, a while. A little bit of finding myself, but I'm back and I feel fresh. So I'm trying to dust off the ring rust. But here goes. At number 5, I think you kind of talked about this, but I would say your history, and particularly your family history, right? A lot of what you get and how you are in a relationship is based on what you've seen as a childhood, as an adolescent, growing up. And some relationships are normal to you, right? The way the toxicity in the relationship is what you're accustomed to, so that's what you know. So that a lot of that carries over into your adult life, into your dating life, and you think that is the norm, and that is my norm, that is my life. So I'm just going to continue what I already know, the same routine over and over again. So family history, your family history and relationships is my number five. At number four, I think this is a guy thing a lot. I think men think we're fixers, right? You've heard the term mansplaining and all of that stuff. Men think that they can find something that's broken. I'm not going to hire a plumber. I'm not going to hire a roofing guy. I can do it myself. I can fix it myself, right? So they find someone who they think is it's toxic, who is they in their minds maybe a little bit broken, and they want to fix them, and they see the challenge in trying to fix them. I can tame this person, I can tame this woman, I can bring her to where I think she needs to be, or where I want her to be. I think that's the controlling aspect of men when it comes to toxic relationships and finding toxic partners, because they want that ability to be the hero, right? To be the guy that I fixed her, I did this for her. So that's number four. At number three, I think just like how women are attracted to bad boys, men are attracted to bad women, bad girls. They like the wildness, they like the excitement, they like the spontaneity in these type of relationships. So all of that is new, is exciting, is out of the mundane, out of the ordinary. So they're constantly going after those same level of excitement, same type of adrenaline in those type of relationships, whether it's confrontational, toxic. They just love that type of energy and constantly seeking it because it makes them feel alive. And that's my number three. At number two, you're ugly. You're ugly. I'm sorry, and I say this because being in a relationship, one aspect of it is being attracted to another person. If you are not an attractive person, it doesn't mean you're ugly. I use ugly playfully, but if no one finds you attractive, or the opposite sex, or the same sex doesn't find you attractive, you're very limited in your options, right? So then you have low self esteem. And we know that toxic people like to be in relationships where they can manipulate others. And someone who has low self esteem likes to be manipulated, or they don't have a lot of choice, they don't have a lot of options, so they find themselves in these type of relationships, and these toxic partners see that and pounce on it, like a prey with a bloody, bloody prey, a lion hunting a bloody gazelle or whatever. Like, they just see it and pounce on it, right? They just see it, smell the blood in the water like sharks, and they can jump on that with someone who has low self-esteem, because they're not in a lot of relationships, and they want to be needed, because everyone wants to be in a relationship, everyone wants to be needed, everyone wants to be with somebody. Um, and my number one is, I think a lot of it is neurological, right? It's an addiction. Being attracted to someone, just like people are addicted to porn, drugs, money, candy, food, or whatever. Being in a toxic relationship is a neurologic. My words are so bad today. I don't know what's going on. It's the ring rust. Psychological, right? That you cannot get away from this addiction, so that you're constantly seeking these same type of partners over and over and over again, because it's what you know, it's what you like, it's all of one through 5 through 2, or 5 through 2 together combined adds to this addiction. So you're constantly seeking these type of partners. So, Stefania, that's my 5 cents. Who do you want to hear
Great.
from next?
Thank you. That was great.
Thank you.
Okay. I think I'm going to pick HLS.
Hello. So,
Hi.
Oh God, here we go.
shush, it's not your turn. It's not your turn. So, Stefania, my 5 cents goes like this. At number five, it's learned behavior. I'm the youngest of three, so growing up, I've seen my sisters date. When they're out and they don't have any friends, I'm watching television. I'm watching soap operas, and they have like all this. They need the drama. They need the drama, or you learn it from your parents. So you don't really know how to handle yourself well because of all of your influences around you are teaching you something, and you don't really know much about dating. So it becomes within you. So it's learned behavior. And number four, you're too positive. Believe it or not, you can be too positive and you're going to give anybody the benefit of the doubt. So you're dealing with someone who's toxic and you're always going to look for the best in them because you can't believe that someone could have negative energy. So you're just always a positive person and you refuse to see some of those things. And you always want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. And number three, you're not a fighter. A toxic person knows that you won't say no, or they're going to use it to their advantage. They're always going to nitpick and do certain things, and you're just going to go with the flow to not cause any waves. You're not a fighter. So and people see this, toxic people see this, and they pounce on it. And number two, similar to number four, you ignore the red flags. So number four was you always a positive, give people the benefit of the doubt. But this one, you justify bad behavior. You continuously justify the bad behavior, their attitudes, or whatever the case may be, and people see that and then pounce on it. Number one, no self-confidence. As your partner lies to you, deceives to you, insults you, you can't stand up for yourself. You can't stand up for yourself. You don't have that self-confidence within you to say, hey, no, it's not acceptable. And that, Stefania, is my 5 cents into why people attract toxic partners. Now, you're gonna hear from this storyteller. Don't fall for the hype, Stefania. He's gonna try to seduce you with his stories and yada yada. Don't fall for it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You've been warned.
Okay.
Stefania, I'm in the building with my 5 cents on the topic of toxic magnetism. Don't listen to HLS in his non-confidence ways in his list. This is just clear sign. At number 5, I have inability to set boundaries. Because the guy wants to be this provider and this, that, the third, they do not provide any boundaries, and therefore that toxicity is able to creep into the relationship. At number 4, this actually has to do with the toxic partner, but you as the man might be the trigger for their daddy issues. So because of that unpacked daddy issues, they're bringing that toxic energy. They're being attracted to that piece. At number 3, I have insecurity. And I think you hit it on the button with the confidence piece, it being a base. Being insecure, I think, is definitely like perfume for toxicity. A toxic person likes someone who's insecure. At number 2, I do believe in childhood trauma, and the man's toxic mom would be a reason why that they attract toxic partners. They grew up in a family in which they had a toxic mom, and a lot of time guys try to date according to kind of the example that their mom gave. And then at number 1, J. Cole said you can't save them, but they don't want to be saved. But savior complex. That's number 1 on the list. Is men have this savior complex and they want to save these hoes, but these hoes ain't loyal. So like that right there is my 5 cents on the topic right there. What's going to happen next, Stefania? Next week, we are going to go into what we call cross-examination and allow you the opportunity to ask us some questions about our list. Like you try to figure out who's in third place and who's in first place. So until then, this is our 5 cents. See y'all next week.